Hey, what's going on, guys? If you're a small business owner, an accountant, bookkeeper, or even if you're like an insurance agent, or even if you're a digital marketer, if you're an entrepreneur and you got to get sales, I want to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some really practical in-person sales things that actually work, but this is founded in like prospecting and front-end activity that will get actual customers. Then I'm going to talk about some of the digital marketing stuff out there that can take the in-person things that you should be doing and then maximize them. And the reason why I want to talk about this is I have a lot of people call in and that have businesses. And what happens is they get stuck in this dynamic that I call lever pulling, right? This idea of like, you have all these things you can do and you're like, all right, I'll pull this lever. You know, I think entrepreneurship and business ownership comes down to two primary things, right? One, you have to get sales. You have to find people with problems and then make a sale. And two, you have to execute. Now, another thing you have to remember is that the front end activity, the marketing activity, the things that are getting in front of people are starting the sales process that will fill your sales funnel months down the road, right? Weeks, days, months down the road. In other words, the people that you're talking to right now are eventually going to do business with you more than likely if you're doing the right things. But this is something that I learned at Thrivent Financial. In fact, a gal named Elena Beckius was really good at helping us as financial advisors to say, you know what, front end activity to get meetings are what is going to keep your business thriving. Now, in particular, in this bookkeeping and accounting business, or even in my business, I know that if I have like 1 to 3 connect meetings or front end meetings talking about somebody's business, like an actual meeting with somebody a day, and if I have 1 to 9 or 15 different connect meetings set in a week, I know for sure a couple of those are going to close over the next month and a half, right? So front end activity is absolutely the most important thing. But people often don't get training in this. So I want to give you some practical things that I've found really work for me. They've really worked for the people that I coach. I do all this stuff with all these accountants and bookkeepers and tax people and small business owners, construction guys. And really, I hate to say it, but sales is something that most business owners struggle with. They might be good at in a sales meeting or mediocre in a sales meeting. But what I find is that they're almost always struggling to be well-rounded. And the reason why I resonate with that is well-rounded means you prospect well, you run meetings well, you actually close the deal well, you ask for money well, you overcome objections and convey value. I don't even think overcoming objections, but you convey value well, and then you transition and onboard the client well, and then you execute well. It is really hard to do all that right. And I think one of the reasons why it's so difficult is there's not very many professions anymore that are going to prepare you. In fact, most people are going to a college where they don't learn any of this. In fact, you don't have to execute hardly at all. As long as you're on time and you're writing decently, most liberal arts schools are saying, okay, now accountant in the sciences are much different. They're much more difficult, but not necessarily equipping you to run your own business at all. And they're really not good at sales because, generally speaking, a professor and anybody who's teaching in a college education situation is terrible at sales. They've never had to go out and make something happen to actually close a sale, usually in their whole life, because in order to get where they are, all they did was go to school for a million years. So people that go to college are often ill-equipped. Not only that, you look at what business has done. I grew up and I graduated high school in 2000, and then I worked at Perkins Restaurant, a restaurant, like a griddle style restaurant, breakfast, lunch, dinner for a year and a half. And then I went to Best Buy for 7.5 years. And in that, I sold thousands of computers. I helped thousands and thousands of people. I got a ton of repetitions at helping people. And not only that, but I actually had to find people and establish that they had a problem, identify what that problem was, make a connection while we're doing it. Hey, buddy. And while I was doing that, come here, bud. So here's Bennett. Bennett. How old are you?
15.
15? No, you're 2.
I'm 8.
And this is Hope, and she's 8. So long story short, I got to sell all sorts of computers, right? And when I was selling computers, I at minimum got to identify their problems, try and solve those problems, bring solutions to those problems, and I got practice. You know, most jobs now at like Target or Costco or any type of store that you go to, all the research is done online. And corporations, good or bad, have basically said our employees don't really need to know anything. And I mean that nicely. But go in just about anywhere short of like a car. That's the microphone. If you go into like a car dealership, they're really going to know their stuff, but they're going to be pushing sales. There's not very many environments where you can learn to do consultative sales anymore, short of working in a small business or working in a business and actually doing sales. So my heart goes out there too. It gets really difficult to actually learn how to do this stuff. So front-end activity is even harder, right? In front-end activity, the idea is that you need to make phone calls, make connections, and intersect with people enough times so that people are actually going to set a meeting with you. And once they set a meeting with you, then you have an opportunity to connect with them, understand their business, find out their needs, and provide them a vision of how you're a guide and how you solve problems, right? You want to show a little bit of like most of the people you intersect with are here, and you have a vision for how things can be better. You can lead them from here to there, and that there's a better future, you goofed, for them. And that better future involves the solutions that you provide, right? And the whole time, what you're trying to do is find the right people with the right problems, with the right buying power at the right time. And in order to do that, you got to keep your sales funnel full. In fact, your number one goal, go get mommy. Your number one goal is to create a mathematical inevitability that your funnel has enough activity in it and there's enough people in your funnel that some of them are going to be able to afford you and they're actually going to close with you. And so the first thing that you should consider doing is, I think that most people when they're first getting started should join like BNI, Business Networking International, I think is what it stands for. Now, BNI ends up being way too much about actually being part of BNI. It's supposed to be like a referral network. Basically, each profession, there's one seat for each profession, and there's a group, and then that group meets every single week. And the idea is you kind of go up and give yourself a little presentation. You make connections with people. You'll build some serious relationships within a BNI. I think it's probably worth joining for most people as they're getting started. You need to remember that most people that go to these are business owners that really need the business, right? So they often don't have money. They're just getting started. But those relationships, in fact, the BNI group that I was in 7 years ago, I still have tight relationships with them because you see them every single week. And there's a ton of opportunity for that. Now, the other thing with BNI is they have a culture of allowing you to come and visit once or twice. And once you've visited once or twice, they have a culture of doing one-on-ones together. So you could go and actually do a one-on-one with just about every business owner or a salesperson inside of that BNI group, and you would build a nice little connection. Now, the back end of that whole idea of networking is that you want to collect business cards, okay? Don't give out that many business cards. You can, I do. And the more credible you get in business, the more your business cards will create some actual magic. But in general, when you collect a business card, now you're in charge of follow-up, right? And what you can do is you can send out an email. And really what you want to do is you want to build a group of people that you touch base with periodically, right? Shoot a text message to them, shoot a simple email to them, not to slime all over them, but to actually build some connection in a relationship, right? And unless you're like me and that you have 4 kids and a wife and a business and you're too busy to do anything except for your family and your business, it's probably good to go shoot some golf with these folks. It's probably a good idea to go out and go to a restaurant together, do some networking events with each other, go visit their business, frequent their business, go support the restaurateur in the group, go out and go to the coffee shops, get to know everybody's name. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because particularly after pandemics, what we're finding is that there's a lot of value to personal connection. And while we can do all of this virtually, and I think I have connections with people because of video networking, there's really a depth to being across from somebody. And I also think there's a depth of being on a video conference call with people, but there's really something special about being in proximity with somebody. So that's the first thing. And then the second, so one, I think you should join a networking group of some sort. The chamber can be it, or just find a group of people that you can spend time around. It's cool to have other business owners and entrepreneurs. But then the second shade of that is you have to build a network. You have to stay in touch with them. And I think there's some really practical things you can do to stay in touch with people. In fact, one of the best things I think to do is to have HubSpot. HubSpot free as a CRM. What you could see is that you can come in and you can make little lists and groupings and tag people that are part of your actual CRM. And what'll happen is you can then put reminders in there to just do a little follow-up, do that little text, stay in touch with people. Hey, hope things are going well for you. Just little touch, like upward and forward encouragements, right? If you become the encourager in chief of your town and of all the professionals that you meet, but you do a good job of kind of getting everybody's information and then just finding, hey, let's connect. I'd love to hear how business is going. I want to share with you what we're doing. And let's see how we can do that. That's super powerful. Now, the other thing that I would mention is that cold calling or introductions are really powerful, okay? And what I've found is that if you can be in proximity with people in person, it makes it all a lot easier. And I think you need to find excuses to say, hey, I'm a business owner. I own an accounting firm. Would you like to connect, or could I shoot you an email and just introduce myself, right? Or, hey, I'm a digital marketer down the road here. I know there's a lot of us, but I'd love to, can I just send you an email and introduce myself? And the idea is if you go through like the Google My Business in your area, if you go through the Chamber of Commerce lists and you find all of the small entrepreneurs in your area and you make it a note to give them a call or text them, and don't prospect them, but this is prospecting. You're not trying to do this to them. You're not an MLMer where you're coming in and you're sliming all over them. But basically what you're going to want to do is ask them if you can send them an email, right? And all you're going to do in that email is introduce yourself and then make them part of your list. Not that you send your email newsletter to. That's not what this is about. But to cultivate a relationship over time, which means sending little texts, dropping in on them, finding them on Facebook or LinkedIn and liking their posts and supporting them on social media, right? Building a nice little web of people that you actually want to pay attention to that can impact your life, right? Now, that's not going to cause deals to close with you, but what it's going to do is it's going to plant the seeds for relationships down the road. And as you build credibility with this group, as you show the work that you're doing, and over time, you'll find that stuff comes out of this, right? So basically what I'm saying is I think it's all right to cold call, but I think you do it locally. And what you do locally is you find all the construction businesses you find in the winter, and you find all the lawn care guys and just find everybody. Hey, you know what? I'm an accountant down the road. Hey, I have a website company down the road. I know you got a good website, but I was wondering, could I just send you an email to introduce myself? Well, I don't know. I think we're fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Cool. What is your email? I'll just send it to you. I won't spam you. I won't do anything, but I just want to introduce myself. I'd love your business sometime. I'd love to connect and see if we could help you. But I'm telling you, business owners appreciate that. And then the cool thing is if you use HubSpot and you email through HubSpot through either Gmail or Outlook, you can actually kind of keep track of when they're opening your emails. You can drip on them and do some really cool stuff. So that's the second thing that I would do is cold call people and introduce yourself. Just go out there and introduce. Now, don't copy and paste a giant letter. Just keep it simple. Hey, what's up? I'm an accounting firm down the road. I'm an entrepreneur. I was wondering if I could introduce myself sometime. That's it, right? And as long as they get it, right? And good businesses have people that do that, and they're used to that. But there's also kind of the whole, it is annoying because a lot of people are getting called all day. But if there's some sort of connection there, if there's some sort of locality, I'm telling you, that'll help. The next thing that I would do is I would start creating videos, okay? Creating videos on YouTube and making sure that you're teaching and adding value through YouTube, and then taking those videos and putting them on your blog, taking those and also putting them on social media, but primarily YouTube is huge. A lot of times a webinar is going to talk the why and the what, and then they sell the how, right? I believe that if you come alongside people and kind of show them a little bit of the how, and then they know that they can hire you to actually do it well and do it professionally, the result is going to be that they end up calling you. And I know this because our business, we've made hundreds of thousands of dollars because of the videos that we've had online. And if you commit to actually teaching and trying to add value, this is my voice. This is how I do it. There are people that do this in TikTok. They do a great job. They're cuter. They're funnier. They have more wits. They're more creative than I am. But I'm telling you, if you create videos and you optimize them for search engine optimization, you're gonna have results. So you could take that prospecting and actually do it on video. And what'll happen is you take those videos and put them throughout your website. Anything you're trying to communicate on your website, put it on your website as a quick summary of video. And I think what you're going to find is that people They like it. It's going to help communicate because you can almost smell a video, right? And they'll get to know you. You might not get hundreds of thousands of views. You might not even get hundreds of views. It might be 10 views. But what does happen is over time, if people bump on it and they click on it, especially if it's on your website, you can summarize things and you will close more deals because of it. So I think creating videos on YouTube and then putting them on your website is another really good thing for front-end activity. The last two things are advertising, right? And I'm going to dive into this a little bit deeper here. And we're going to move fast because I know I'm getting to be a long-winded son of a gun here. So when you come into Feedbackwrench, you go down to services, you go to PPC. Here's what I'm going to let you know. A great way to get sales going is to take everything that you're doing and put it on the internet. And really what you'll find is that there's a couple types of ads that you're going to want to hammer through, right? So first off, you can do paid search ads. And paid search ads are really around this idea where you can take a keyword, create a paid search ad, and then pay to make sure that you show up. In fact, if you can show up and show your reviews like it's showing here, that's going to be fantastic. So again, you have a search, you have an ad, you can even show your Google My Business. That just jumps you to the front of the line. That's huge to get market share and create sales fast. Then once they hit your website, you'll also want to do what's called remarketing, okay? Now imagine somebody went to your website and when they got there, they also got added as a group on Facebook or an audience on Facebook, and then you ran Facebook ads directly to those people that have been to your website. And this is an example of a lead generation advertisement. So this is an actual guide that I give away. And it goes to a video, kind of my most popular YouTube video about starting an accounting firm. And long story short, people sign up for this and I end up being able to get leads for $2 or $3. And then I slowly try and add value through email and to keep them going. But also this can be something that I pop in front of people between this search ad and my website and here. Now, when people hit your website, or if they hit your website from clicking on something like this, or if they click on an ad at all, we can do what's called retargeting. And retargeting means that you're going to make them part of an audience and then you're going to serve up ads. And the ads can be in all sorts of ways. They can be on social media. They could be on YouTube. So this is a really powerful thing. You've probably seen this for me. There's two types of YouTube ads. You can take a video that's really you explaining what you do, and you could put it as a YouTube discovery ad. And that YouTube discovery ad is basically your video in front of people. The only thing that shows that it's an ad is this little yellow thing. But for very cheap, you can get lots of views. The other type is a bumper ad. And before you start watching a video, you know, that 3 or 4 seconds that pop up, they're really kind of obnoxious until you find one that actually connects with you. So YouTube discovery ads and YouTube bumper ads are a way to really broadcast and get some excellent engagement with people. The bumper ads are really just trying to get like your website stuck in their mind no matter what. You think about that's what Wix did. Wix and Squarespace, they used video bumper ads and affiliate ads to get that going. But then these discovery ads, you can make sure that you're getting in front of people very easily. Besides that, you can do what's called display ads, right? So you can show up on political sites, you can show up on TripAdvisor, these blogs, and you can make sure that once somebody's been to your website, they're going to see this. Now, Google display ads are on YouTube and blogs, and basically anything that has AdSense installed on it. And AdSense is basically a way that they make money by putting advertising there, but it's really a spray and pray thing. You can get tons and tons and tons of impressions and be in front of people often, and they don't always generate clicks, but when they do, they work pretty well. The key is to have a great, websites and Google ads that actually generate sales. That's what we do. And, the idea here is I'm putting my face because this is going in front of people that have watched my YouTube ad. You've probably seen that. So the idea is you can do display ads, YouTube ads, Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn ads, and then you can do paid search ads. All of those things in a well-rounded advertising campaign to the right group of people at the right time can take everything that you were doing in person, intersect with people that are actually looking for a solution, and get your message in front of them. So if you like the idea of doing that, we can set you up fully done for you. Even if you have another website, go ahead and go to feedbackwrench.com. We'd love to help you. But remember that front-end activity now is going to create sales down the road. Good luck. God bless. Like and subscribe. I'd love to know, what kind of help do you need? What kind of advice are you looking for? Is there anything we can do to help you? I know there's smarter people that are better looking to do this too, but good luck. God bless.